What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of F1 Fantasy Pole Position. It is Wednesday, July 30th. My name is Ewan. On today's episode, I'm going to get into some Hungarian Grand Prix question and answers. Anything you guys want to talk about, we can get into it right here and right now as I adjust my little pillow there to hopefully make it sound less echoey in here. But let me know what you guys are up to in the chat. You can hit me up right there and you guys will pop up on the bottom right hand part of the screen. Hopefully everyone is doing well. I've got the points required for a price rise up here. And yeah, this is it. The Hungarian Grand Prix Q&A live stream for the next hour. So drop a like, drop a hello, and we will chit chat everything F1 fantasy. Let's get it going here with a poll. Will you bring in a bottom of the barrel asset for Hungary? Let's see here. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the votes below. Let's start off with how are you? And liked the last race. It was frustrating. It was frustrating, Bujaka. It was very frustrating indeed, especially since I played the no negative chip and it did not work out. But, you know, it was good process, bad results. So that's all we can really do. Nixie is in the chat. Hello, Nixie. What are you up to today? Not too much going on right now, but that's okay. So this is my squad right now. Like I said, drop all your comments and questions for F1 Fantasy in the chat, and I will I will get to them. Zach is in the chat. What is up, Zach? Aishi, McLaren, Aston Martin's McLaren, Aston Martin, Piastri, Norris, Hulkenberg, Alonso, and Gasly, 123.7 million. What moves would you recommend? Piastri, Norris, Hulkenberg, Alonso, and Gasly. With 2 free transfers. I think. I mean, you're kind of like in a corner there with the Piastri Norris kind of build you've got going on there, Zach. So I'd probably get Gasly out. Maybe I'd go Gasly to Lawson and Alonso, maybe to Albon, or maybe just to Behrman, because you don't have Behrman there. So maybe you can do those 2 moves. Let's see. If you go down from Gasly at 6 to Lawson, that saves you 1.5. And then Alonso. Yeah, so you should have enough money to Alonso to Lawson and Behrman or Gasly to Lawson and Alonso for Behrman. Zach, you read my mind. There we go. Boom, right there. Nixie says not much, to be honest, mate. Yeah, it's been a little bit of a slow week. But tomorrow will be media day for all the drivers. So it will be interesting to see if we get any comments about what happened in Spa, all that fun stuff. See if Ferrari feels good or bad about their rear suspension. Nixie is saying, my decision this week is Behrman versus Albon. Free practice will probably be the deciding factor. If they look similar, I'll probably just go for Behrman since he didn't need as much for a price rise. He also feels the safe bet in terms of ownership. Yes, that is a little bit in my thoughts this week as well. Elite data, Behrman, 66% of the global top 500. So that is a little bit nice, kind of like swords and shields kind of thing. So like you want to play the shield with Behrman, but you could attack with like a Lawson. Like if Lawson comes out of nowhere and gets like 10 points, that would be really nice for your F1 fantasy team. Zach says, how do you think Aston Martin will do compared to Kick? I would, man, that's a great question. Let's see here. Compared to Kick, I mean, they are rather close in performance over the last 3 races, but I mean, Kick is still less expensive than Aston Martin by 2 million. So I don't mind kick at all. Aston Martin has better chances of going up in price a little bit here. As you can see, -14 and -6 for Kick Sauber, but I would still expect them to rise as well. It still seems like a pretty good bet in F1 Fantasy. There's lots going on this week, so I've already done I did a race review on Sunday. I did team selection on Monday. Got the Q&A stream going on right now. Friday, there'll be like a 10-minute final thoughts episode, so make sure to check that out. And Saturday, 2-hour deadline stream. On the way to 3,500, so if you guys are watching and you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, just drop a subscription and you will get in the chat. Because so right now going like subscriber only mode in the chat. So if you have an F1 Fantasy question, just drop a subscribe real quick, like the video, and you will be in the chat and I will make sure to answer your question. I have a very good hit rate of answering questions on these streams. Hopefully people will attest to that. Nixie's back. Yeah, Lawson is kind of a lock for me right now. I want to bring one of the bottom of the barrel assets so I don't need to take a -10 to get to the heavy 4A lineup in Zandvoort. Yes, that is a great point. Javi says, evening all. Hey, Ewan. What is up, Javi? Happy to have you aboard. Looking at the weather, F1 came out with their weather forecast for the weekend. Chance of rain is less than 20% on Friday. Chance of rain on Saturday is 20%. And then it's 60% chance of rain on Sunday. At this range, the confidence in the forecast is low. They literally say that in there. So high chance of rain the night before, mostly cloudy day with moderate to high chance of rain in the morning, decreased in a bit for the race. At this range, the forecast is low. So we will see. We will see how the weather plays out this weekend in Budapest. Plenty to think about in F1 Fantasy. So right now we got the poll going. Don't forget to vote in the poll. Will you bring in a bottom of the barrel asset for Hungary? Yes at 60%, no at 40%. And like me and Nixie and Zach and I have been chit-chatting about for the first few minutes of the episode, the moves I'm looking at making, I think because Stroll and Hülkenberg still need such low barriers to get to a max price rise, I'm going to hold on to them in F1 Fantasy this week. Behrman is on the block, Alonso's on the block, and I could simply just do a little bit of, make it a little bit of an aggressive play with Albon and then save some budget with Lawson. And then keep McLaren and Ferrari and have 0.8 million in the bank. Albon is interesting because, I mean, his thresholds are lower than Alonso. So Albon's at 3 for a good price rise, 13 for a great price rise, whereas Alonso is at 8 and 14. Alonso has finished in the top 11 each of the last 3 years in this Hungarian Grand Prix, whereas Albon's best finish is 11th, but this is by far the best car that Alexander Albon has ever had over the last 3 years in Williams. And he's coming off a couple of stellar performances. Like he had this miserable run here, like in Spain, Canada, Austria, DNF, DNF, DNF. But before that, things were going okay. Imola, 18 points, Bahrain, 15 points, China, 11 points, Australia, 17 points, 12 points in the UK, 14 points in Belgium. So he's shown us that he can hit that like double-digit mark in a single race Grand Prix weekend, and it makes me feel pretty good about him. I'm pretty sure even if I keep Behrman, I think Alonso will be coming out of my squad. It's not ideal because I still kind of like Alonso as an option, but the 8 points for a good price rise is a little bit scary, especially when you've got Behrman there. Like if I don't trust Behrman to get to his 9 points for a great price rise, is Alonso getting to a good price rise at 8 really a sensible option either? So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Let's see here. Oh, got some people in the chat. What is up? What is up? Bujaka says, Piastri, Stroll, Behrman, Alonso, Hülkenberg, McLaren, Ferrari, 3 transfers, 4 in the bank. Any recommendations? Really can't think of any moves. Bujaga, that I think we have the exact same squad, so I was just talking about that. So hopefully that helped. Javi says, I don't have any trust in FIA anymore. I had a complete wet weather setup for Spa and then the delay until it's bone dry. Yes, absolutely brutal. It was not fun as a no negative manager to watch that track dry out safety car lap after safety car lap. I was like, this is not going well. Nixie, would possibly rain put you off Limitless if you still had it? I know has been asking that question. I think I would be confident enough with 3 free practices to kind of still back like the top 5 drivers. I guess the last kind of decision, I think I'd still go McLaren and Ferrari as the constructors, and then Piastri, Norris, Verstappen, probably Hamilton because he's just driving a little bit better than, well, he's getting better F1 fantasy results than Charles is right now. So that makes me lean towards Lewis over Charles, but really for those last 2 spots, it would come down to Charles versus Lewis versus George. I still believe in George. I know Mercedes took a step back, but he's had a pole here and a podium and a fastest lap over the last 3 seasons here. So I don't mind going with George at all. Pedro says, hello, would you prefer Mercedes Hamilton or Ferrari Antonelli? Ooh, that is rough. It would probably have to be Mercedes Hamilton just because of the budget building. I don't really love that combination at all, but that's probably as good as you're going to get with like the 0.6. Like Mercedes need 35 points and Antonelli's locked in pretty much to a price drop. And especially when budget is so critical at this point of a season, as we're all trying to get to like a 4A lineup, Pedro, I guess I'd go with Mercedes Hamilton, but I would prefer Ferrari Hamilton, but I understand obviously you cannot get there. Xavi says, I'm looking to drop Alonso too, but why are you dumping Behrman so you can get Albon? Yes, but that's probably going to come down to like what Nixie was saying earlier, Xavi. It's probably going to come down to free practice and how like Haas looks, how Williams looks, that kind of thing altogether. Like that final decision, Alonso to Lawson, is pretty much like that's going to happen. And it'll kind of come down to free practice and like a gut feel of Behrman versus Albon for the final slot. But it's nice to have that option. But like if it seems like Williams can qualify better than Haas, which makes sense. Albon has done it plenty of times this year that he's qualified quite well. And Haas, their Achilles heel has kind of been qualifying this season. I know Behrman's had a couple of good results, but pretty consistently, if we go to the statistics here, if we go to qualifying position, as you can see, like, so Albon here, 6, 10, 9, 15, 11, 7, 7, 10, 11, 10, 12, 14, 5. Like he's had a couple of bad races, but has been in Q3 quite consistently. But then if we look at Behrman, 17, 10, 25, 15, or 15, 20, 19, 17, 15, 14, 15, 8, 12. So the last couple of races for Behrman have gone a little bit better, but I would definitely say Albon has been consistently better over the season, 9.8 compared to 15.5. Like even if you want to like narrow it down to like the last 7 races or whatever, if we go here, or 7 races would include Imola, still Albon's up ahead, 7, 10, 11, 10, 12, 14, 5, 9.9. Behrman's getting a little bit closer at 14.3. But in Hungary, it's really important for like your qualifying position is going to be really important compared to where you finish. So if we go here, we can go to fantasy points. I'll remove all positions gained for Hungary last year, like 9 from Russell and Sergio. But then after that, look at this. So Russell and Perez had 9 positions gained each, and then 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 0, and then everyone else. So Williams and Haas don't have like a supercharged jet engine like Russell and Perez had last season. So you gotta think that whoever qualifies highest will probably come out on top in that. And I'm not saying that Albon will even get to that 13 points, but I feel like he has a better shot of getting there than Behrman with the 9 if the current season-long trend of qualifying continues. Hopefully that makes sense. Caleb's in the chat. What is up, Caleb? Hello, quite a good race, even with burn, no negative. Any upgrades for my team? McLaren, Ferrari, Alonso, Piastri, Bortoleto, Lawson, Hulkenberg. I had same team for the last 2 races. If you could get to Behrman from Alonso, I would like that. That would probably still be the goal, Caleb. Nixie, I've done a bit of math and I can actually get to Piastri, Leclerc, McLaren, Ferrari with 3 bottom of the barrel assets if things go to plan in Hungary. Exciting. That is epic, Nixie. Great job by you. That is really cool. I don't think I can get there. I'm trying to see. So even if I go up 3.3 million and then load up with the bottom of the barrel assets, that will likely be Lawson, Bortoleto, and Colapinto, then I'm going to be 20.3 million. So yeah, I'm going to need, so if Leclerc falls 0.1, he'll be at 23.9. So yeah, I would need to go up 3.6 million, which is not in the cards because I'm not going to have 5 tier B assets in my squad. Hamilton, if something goes really awry, could be in with a shout. But I would probably be looking at Russell. But that's a great job by you, Nixie. Well done. Alex, might have asked this before, but with 3 free transfers, how many can you carry to the next race? So you can only have a max of 3, Alex. So it doesn't matter if you use 1 or 2. As long as you don't use all 3 free transfers, you will have 3 free transfers next week. If you use 0, 1, or 2, you will have 3 free transfers for the Dutch Grand Prix after the summer break. Caleb says, I have 115.7 million. Okay, so you are tight on budget. I really wouldn't want to get rid of Hulkenberg because he's like the easiest budget building asset, but Hulkenberg, oh, you even have to go up 0.1 to get to Stroll. I keep forgetting that Stroll is more expensive than Hulkenberg. Yeah, you might just have to be in that spot. Maybe Alonso all the way down to Colapinto if you're just trying to preserve budget. But yeah, that's quite tough, Caleb. Yeah, sorry. Buyaka says, yeah, same team. I was in listening mode, not watching. Okay, no worries, Buyaka. What's your rank right now, Ewan? Is top 1K still on? So right now I'm right outside the top 8K. I had what I considered a pretty good weekend in Belgium, despite the no negative being useless. And I went up about 600 places. So keeping on that rate would be quite nice. I'm just going to have to, I think my biggest chance to get into the top 1K, Nixie, is probably find a couple of weekends where I'm not convinced about McLaren and I'm just going to like have to take that leap. Like I've already got Vegas circled, that is going to be the Mercedes weekend, but really need one of these other teams to come along and kind of shake up the top of the grid. Because once teams get to Piastri, Norris, McLaren, along with like a Mercedes or something, it's probably going to be game over for moving up rank. So that's why I've been kind of concentrating on building budget, because I'm hoping that I can get there a couple of races ahead of some of the teams ahead of me and maybe make that a big difference. Because yeah, I still think it's quite tightly bunched in this kind of area. Like obviously I'm not going to win the whole thing, but until we get to like the last few races and maybe I'm still at this point, like the goal is still top 1K. I think that would be that would be an incredible recovery from where a lot of us started after Australia. Javi says, I just really hope Haas / Aston Martin and perhaps Williams look good in free practice. We need more options. We sure do. Yeah. We sure do. We sure do. Thank you to the new subscribers. So we are now 24 away from 3,500. So don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe if you are watching. I see there's 35 of us watching right now, 13 likes. So we could get that up to 20 likes. That would be fantastic. Javi, Haas is more quality low to overtake and race. Not good for Hungary, I'd say. I probably won't go for any Haas assets. Yep. Same kind of wavelength there, Javi. Frogman says, I've got McLaren, Ferrari, Piastri, Stroll, Lawson, Hulkenberg, and Berryman with 122.2 in the bank. Any suggestions? I mean, I like that squad quite a lot. I guess you could go Berryman down to another 4.5 million assets. But I don't think you really have anything to change there, Frogman. So I think it looks quite strong. Ethan's in the chat. What's up, Ethan? Hi, Ewan. I have Piastri, Hulkenberg, Behrman, Lawson, Alonso with McLaren, Ferrari. Thoughts with 2 free transfers? Man, I like that squad too. You've already got Lawson in there. I guess it depends on how much budget you have, but I would maybe just like take the risk and keep it all there that you've got it right now, Ethan. Satya says, I can afford Piastri, Norris, McLaren, Kick with the best B tier assets this week. If everyone rises, I can afford Piastri, Norris, McLaren, Mercedes after Hungary. A differential thought. I like the thinking, Satya, but Mercedes really just aren't getting it done in the tier A budget. So I'm kind of out on Mercedes a little bit for now until I see Kimi Antonelli kind of get back on track. I mean, he got fastest lap, so that helped a lot this weekend, but overall, it was a pretty poor weekend for him. Will you bring in a bottom of the barrel asset? Has been going for 20 minutes. 62% of you guys said yes. So there we go. We are going to start a new poll here. What should the poll be? Man. Oh, I guess will Singapore make a good sprint race in 2026? I'm not sure if you guys saw this, but over the weekend, I guess, they said that they leaked the sprint races for 2026, and Singapore was on that list. I don't think I've seen anything official since then, but that was the leak in there. Kayla says, I was thinking about Aston, McLaren, Russell, Piastri, Hulkenberg, Behrman, Lawson. Yeah, that's a low differential. I like that. I like that, Caleb. That's a good idea. I should have thought of that. My bad. Anvit. Hi, Ewan. Got 268 points with 2.1 million budget rise at Spa, and now at 115.9 million. I have Piastri, Alonso, Hulkenberg, Lawson, Colapinto, McLaren, Ferrari. 3 free transfers. Should I take Alonso out for someone else or keep? Alonso to Behrman is probably a good shout if you have enough money to get there, Anvit. I kind of like that. Let's see here. Next best chance for Limitless is probably this weekend, Anvit. ATL says, hi, how are you doing? I am doing well, ATL. Thank you. How are you? Also, is the F1 movie suitable for an 11-year-old? My brother wants to watch it, and I don't know if I should let him. I think it's appropriate. I think there's no like sex scene, and I don't think there's any like over cursing. There might be a couple of bad words in there, but I think so. So maybe, yeah, I guess it'd be okay. Let's see here. Peter, I'm just outside the top 9K, but most importantly, I have 200-point lead in my mini league. Great job by you, Peter. Nixie says, yeah, it's definitely possible. I had a nightmare in Australia too. I'm actually surprised how I am ranked despite that and my chip strategy not being ideal. Currently 1.3K. Nixie, you are absolutely crushing it. Great job by you, and thank you for always being around on the streams and supporting the channel. Greatly appreciated. Nicholas, I've got McLaren, Ferrari, Piastri, Hulkenberg, Stroll, Behrman, Alonso, 125.1 million and 3 free trans. Thoughts on using RB/Merc so I can move Alonso to Albon and try budget building for one more week before switching to 4A and Zandvoort. Whew. I would probably back Red Bull in this scenario compared to Mercedes. Unless we see something like killer in practice from Kimi Antonelli. He really needs to get his head screwed on. So even though Yuki is not a great asset. Antonelli's just too like risk rewardy right now for the budget building. So I don't love that, Nicholas, but I guess I'd go RB if I had to. Ethan asking, what do you think are the best wildcard weeks now? Probably the Dutch Grand Prix and then Azerbaijan, because we should hear some stuff during the summer break, Ethan, that like this team has turned off the tap for 2025. They're solely focusing on 2026, and we can start like crossing these teams off. And then we could be like, hey, like that team's not going to improve. So unless other teams do better, then that team's probably where it is in the driver's constructor standing. So we can figure that out from there. So maybe the Dutch Grand Prix and then maybe Azerbaijan, just because of the way that Monza's set up. It's kind of very like low downforce track, if I'm remembering which is right. And maybe Azerbaijan. I mean, Azerbaijan is a city race too. So I guess I'd say the Dutch Grand Prix. Frogman, thoughts on Limitless this weekend? Yes, pro Limitless this weekend. Javi says, it'd be very interesting to see the cars struggle with the heat. I mean, the Academy does it, so why not them? That's true. Nick says, no worries, mate. I'm enjoying the content you provide on a weekly basis. I've thought about this for a while. I'm surprised by how well you speak English, but not being your first language. Nixie, it is my first language. I know I live in Germany, but I am actually born in Scotland. So, but maybe I should have just let you give me that compliment. Maybe that would have made me sound more worldly. But I don't want to lie to you, since you've been such a great supporter. Hey, you, and I'm almost to the top 1,000 at 1225. Was at 900K after China Sprint, keeping it close to the meta with 124.8. Feel I need more budget before going for a tier. Yes, I believe so. I think 126 is where the 4A is at right now, Joe. 90% of you guys are saying that the Singapore Grand Prix will not make a good sprint finish. Nixie's saying, oh, yep, I totally just shattered Nixie's glass. I feel bad, but it is what it is. Sorry, Nixie, but I didn't want to lie to you. All right, so someone suggested this last time. I think it was Mitchell suggested this, and they wanted to look at how my actual league is going. So I'm 371st in my league, but there are 8,000 people in here. So let's check it out. We got Let's Geo, Ricardo GOG, 3,247 points. He had 266 in Belgium. Great job by him. McAlpine VTP, Preshan Naker. Here, 271. Alpha Team MB, Marion is up there too. Cash Conovan. Haven't seen them in the chat recently, so hopefully you are doing all right, Cash. Kessa Hesset, XXXX, Racing Excellent 2, Durga. Let's see here. Who else have we got? But yeah, these are all in the top 20. We could go and filter it by how the Belgian Grand Prix went. Oh, we had some Limitless managers in the chat here. So Daniel McGonigal had 386 points with Piastri, Norris, Verstappen, Hamilton, Leclerc, McLaren, Ferrari. I'm pretty sure 386 was the max. Oh my goodness, yes, there was a ton of you guys. 22 of you guys played the Limitless chip, and it went swimmingly well. So great job by y'all. What did 375 do? Oh, they went with Russell instead of Leclerc. Okay. So there we go. Nick says, makes sense then Scotland is a great country. It sure is. It sure is. Bill is in the chat. 114.8. Piastri, Stroll, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Behrman, McLaren, Kick. Thoughts to budget build? Probably Ocon. I guess I'd go Ocon to Alonso. I'm not sure that's going to be like, it's not going to guarantee you a budget build, but it will give you a better chance at a budget build, Bill. Budget build, Bill. I think I said that correctly, but say that 3 times fast. Mac Attack is in the chat. What is up, Mac Attack? Say what? It's Wednesday already? It sure is. If I join the league now, does it still count the points from the first half of the season? Yeah, I believe you should just join right in there somewhere and just pop into wherever you're at in the world. Joe says, I'm 85 in your league. All right, Joe, let's go find you. Let's go find you. As long as you got a web appropriate name. Let's go find you here. Where are you at? 85. 85, 85. Albono 23 for the win, or Racing Dragons F1 team 85. Is this one of you, Joe? Is this one of you? But so found you. Peter says, slow day at work, so I snuck out to watch the live stream uninterrupted. Appreciate that, Peter. Thank you very much. Let me see. Erden says, can you lend me your pricing calculator over the weekend? I'll return it after the break. Yeah, so I was actually checking out Pat's website today, and it looks like it hasn't updated yet. I will check in with Pat over the next couple of days to make sure that everything's all right. I'm sure he's just busy with life. Life gets in the way a little bit. But this is kind of where I put together my very loosey-goosey math from my team selection video, so make sure to go check that out. Thank you to the 2 new subscribers that have hopped in the chat during the last 10 minutes. So very much appreciate that. If you guys are super enthusiastic F1 fantasy managers, like you probably are because you're watching a content creator just chit chat for an hour on a Wednesday evening, afternoon, morning, Thursday morning, wherever you are in the world, don't forget that you can use promo code UN50 for 50% off your first month with F1 Fantasy Tools. Probably wouldn't activate that this weekend because now we're going to go into a month break, but coming out the summer break would be a great time. So don't forget promo code UN50, and there's always a link, or the whole description is in the description below. Hopefully you guys are enjoying that. This week, sorry about that, just hit the microphone. I will be doing a 2-hour deadline stream, and there will also be a cool down room race review, so I try to do that every race weekend as well. The deadline stream is a little bit tougher, but usually I am around for a race review episode, so that is usually my go-to. But yeah, plenty of content this week if you are a brand new subscriber. Team selection, Q&A stream right now, final thoughts on Friday, deadline stream Saturday, cool down room Sunday, and then it's the summer break, which I will probably take a little bit of a break from. Let's see here. Michael says, on way to airport, just listening to all the wisdom. You must be listening to a different podcast, Michael, but I appreciate you tuning in. What's the league code, says Mac Attack. It should be in the description below, Mac Attack, if you don't mind checking that out. Kai the Guy says, I have Piastri, Hulkenberg, Behrman, Alonso, Lawson, McLaren, Ferrari, 3 transfers. What do you think about something crazy like Piastri, Hamilton, Stroll, Hulkenberg, Behrman, McLaren, Kick? Seems like most of the likely budget risers, and I still have wildcard. Well, I really like that if you have wildcard then, Kai the Guy, because then you can just wildcard right out of it in the Dutch Grand Prix. So I don't mind taking a huge punt on any weekend, really, if you have the wild card in your back pocket, because then you can just like instantly fix all the mistakes. So yeah, I think that is quite spicy, and I like it quite a bit. Alex is in the chat again. What is up, Alex? Red Bull, Ollie, or Ferrari signs for both points and budget? Why are you asking the tough questions, Alex? Come on. Points. Well, if it's points, it's going to be Ferrari because they're just outscoring Red Bull most weeks. But if it's points and budget, I guess I'd be going Red Bull Ollie just because they're more likely to rise than Sainz, who needs 19 points to get a max price rise. So I don't love that. But that is what I'd be going. Nixie is backing me up here. Mac Attack saying bless you. Perfect. Hi, Limitless for Hungary. McLaren plus Ferrari, Norris ×2, Piastri, Verstappen, Leclerc, and Hamilton. I like that quite a lot. Maybe I'd throw Russell in there if Mercedes looks okay, because Russell does have a pole, a podium, and a fastest lap here in the last 3 seasons. But yes, definitely McLaren, Ferrari, and then Norris, Piastri, Verstappen, and then 2 of Leclerc, Hamilton, or Russell at the end of the day. But Leclerc and Hamilton are likely the best options. Norris with the ×2 is interesting, but I don't mind it at all. Ollie is in the chat. First time viewer of the live stream and loving it. So welcome aboard, Ollie. Appreciate you coming aboard. Welcome. 120.4 million. Piastri, Norris, Alonso, Hulkenberg, Bortolotto, McLaren, Kick, 3 free transfers. Any recommendations? Maybe getting Norris out. It depends what you're trying to do. If you want to build budget, then Norris probably has to come out of the squad to like a Stroll, and then a Kick needs to go up to like a Red Bull or a Ferrari if you can get up there. It might be a little bit tight. And then the third free transfer could bring Alonso down to Lawson if you need that extra budget to fit in McLaren and Ferrari. Racer 1. Oh, you're in the Rotoballer League, Joe. Sorry about that. Yes. Rotoballer is where I do all my writing. I published the predicted finishing order for the Hungarian Grand Prix, so go check that out. I think that's also in the description below. So rotoballer.com/you in or you out. I have not seen the renovation of the Hungaroring, Nixie. Is it like affecting any of the corners or anything like that? Is it something that we need to be like worried about, or do we need to know it ahead of the weekend? Let me know. Would appreciate that. Mayank says, hey, Ewan, I'm running Piastri, Behrman, Ocon, Alonso, Hulkenberg, McLaren, Mercedes with 120.8 budget. What would you suggest for Hungary with 2 free transfers? Whew, that's a great question. So if you went Ocon all the way down to a Lawson, that would give you 3.6 million, which is going to leave you 1 million short of Ferrari. So if you have 1 million in budget, then maybe that's the way you want to go, Mayank. Let's see here. Who else have we got? Miguel is in the chat. What is up, Miguel? Greetings from Mexico, Ewan. First time in your stream. Thank you for your Twitter/X posts. Really helpful. I believe we should wait one more budget building week before switch to 4A with McLaren and Ferrari. I agree, and I was kind of talking about that in my team selection video, Miguel. So if you haven't checked that out, go check that out. But happy to have you aboard. Thank you for being one of the new subscribers this evening. 21 subscribers away from 3,500, guys. That is incredible. Greatly appreciate each and every one of yours support. It's about the pit lane and grandstands. It doesn't affect the track. Oh, someone did tell me that the paddock is super updated. So, yeah, maybe they'll do a little hype video on the F1 socials this weekend and we'll get to see some of it. Unless you've already seen it somewhere, let me know. Point me in the right direction, Nixie. Always appreciate that. Sai is in the chat. I have Piastri, Alonso, Hulkenberg, Colapinto, Bortoleto, McLaren, and Ferrari. I don't have much budget left to include Behrman or Stroll. Only option I could think of is to switch Bortoleto to Lawson to protect budget. Are there any other options? Unfortunately, I don't think so, Sai. I think that's a good move to go Bortoleto to Lawson. Just kind of got to hope that Alonso gets you a price rise and doesn't cost you any budget this weekend as well. But I like that move. Yeah, you'll be right there. Yeah, Bortoleto's not getting a price rise. So you might as well just move Bortoleto down to Lawson where you can't lose any budget and then just hope that Alonso comes in with a masterclass for at least a 0.2 million rise. Crescent, hello, Ewan. I have McLaren, Ferrari, Piastri, Hulkenberg, Alonso, Behrman, Ocon. Thoughts on Limitless? I have 3 free transfers, 123.8 budget. If I don't use Limitless this week, when is the best time to use it? Oh, that is tough, Crescent, because with Ocon set to fall and Alonso set to fall, well, Alonso's not set to fall, but he has a possibility of falling. It could be a tough weekend to play Limitless. But if you're okay with Ocon potentially falling down 0.2 million and the rest of your squad rising, I think this weekend would be the best weekend to play the Limitless chip with the potential delta over the rest of the squads. Nick said, I've seen it on F1 socials where they shared a few pictures. I'm sure we'll see tomorrow during media day and weekend warm up where they usually hang around there. That's a great point, Nixie. Getting into, okay, so let's see here. Will Singapore make a good sprint in 2026? 32% of you guys are saying yes. And 68% of you guys are saying no. Alrighty, so the final poll will also be sprint related. Let's see here. What track would make the best sprint race? I might have overpowered it there with the first suggestion that's coming in, but let's see here. What else we got? Yeah, that could be a good one. That could be interesting. And let's see. Okay, so out of these 4 tracks, which would be the best sprint race? Austria, Melbourne, Las Vegas, and Monza. Maybe I shouldn't have even put Austria on there because it is kind of a little bit of a fan favorite. But let me know, out of those 4, what would be the best sprint race? MacAttack says, I joined the league, but I can't find it in the shitty menus. Where can I see my joined leagues? So you're over here on your My Team, MacAttack, and then you go up to leagues. And then I think I'll probably be in the public leagues and classic public. And then you just kind of keep scrolling down. I don't even know how I ended up in 22 public leagues. Oh, wait, I'm not even in some of these. So, but yeah, I'm a public league, so I should be up there at the top somewhere. So I guess if you scroll through there, you will eventually find me over there. All right, I really enjoyed doing this segment that we did last week. So load up your chatterbox fingers in the chat and let's go through some F1 predict together. We're going to make our predictions. I'm pretty sure you guys guided me in the correct way last week. So Belgium, okay, so 1, 2, 3, not, they're not there. Who will qualify highest for the Grand Prix? You guys help me out there. Kick Sauber did get cars into Q2. Ferrari did not set the fastest pit stop point. Will there be a safety car VSC during the Grand Prix? I guess it started with one. Fastest lap of the race. Aston Martin scored the most points. That can't be right. But I'll take it. And then most places gained by driver greater than 10. I think I had less than 4, and if it wasn't for Lewis Hamilton, I would have been fine. All right, make my predictions. Predict the podium for the Hungarian. Yeah, I don't know, Nixie. I don't think they did. I think that's a glitch because I'm pretty sure, like, yeah, that can't be right. But yeah, unless it's F1 Fantasy. But did they even outscore them in F1 Fantasy? I guess they outscored them in F1 Fantasy, but there's no way that that's how it was linked. Unfortunately, the points from past GPs do not get included in the total points for me. Oh, sorry, MacAttack. That is good to know. Huh. Okay. Okay. I'll have to think about that for maybe next season but yeah. All right. Predict the podium for the 2025 Hungarian Grand Prix. I am going to switch this up. I'm going to put Lando on pole, Oscar second, and let's go with Leclerc in third. We're going to have a repeat podium, but just a little bit switched up. Let me know if you guys agree with that in the chat while I take a tiny sip of my non-alcoholic beer. Okay, that wasn't that tiny. 42 people are watching right now, and there's 26 likes. So if you're one of the few that are watching that haven't liked it, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're now 18 away from 3,500, so that would be amazing. I think I just played the intro, so hopefully that didn't go out over the okay, I don't have that. There we go. Subscribe, like the video, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let's see. Okay, MacAttack. It updates when the next Grand Prix comes around. Right now, it doesn't add them. Nixie knows all the ins and outs of F1 Fantasy. That's fantastic. Nixie says, it's a bit boring, but it can't go wrong. Cashier says, Oscar will likely have something to prove, so I got him winning. Ollie says, thanks you. And how about Ferrari, Albon, Lawson in for Kick, Norris, Alonso? Means I get to avoid the unpredictability of Stroll and maximize points too. Yeah, I don't mind that at all, actually, Ollie. That's some great thinking there. Austria is leading in what track would make the best sprint race, 56%. But interesting to see that Monza was second ahead of Vegas and Melbourne. All right, on to question 2 here, folks. Who will take pole position? I'm just going to go Lando. Lando. Who will qualify highest for the Grand Prix? Gabriel Bortoleto or Nico Hülkenberg? I believe Bortoleto leads Hülkenberg 7-6 in quali this season. So, yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I don't know if Bortoleto has been to the I'm assuming he's been to the Hungaroring before, but just in like what kind of capacity. But he's kind of getting it done. So I'm going to go with Bortoleto this week. Let me know in the chat if I'm getting anything wrong. Will Haas get 2 cars into Q2? I'm going to go no. That just doesn't seem to happen this season. Who will finish ahead in the race? Leclerc, Russell, Hamilton, or Antonelli? I mean, I've got Leclerc for 10 points. Do I double down and go with Leclerc twice, or do I guarantee that I lose some points? Or oh, Nixie's saying I'd go Hulk for the extra 5 points. It feels worth the gamble. All right, Nixie, I like it. Let's play. Let's roll the dice a little bit there. Who will finish the race ahead? Well, I guess I'll go Hamilton over Russell and Leclerc. At least I'll gain 10 points if I go that way. Who will set the fastest pit stop time? Surely Ferrari has to get back on track with this because I need them to. I need those extra points. Also, if they didn't get fastest, like, hold on. Didn't Ferrari get fastest pit stop time last race? Fastest pit stop time of 2.21 seconds. So on the F1 Predict game where it says who got fastest pit stop, it should have been Ferrari, but they didn't give them the points. Interesting for the F1 Predict game. Will there be a safety car at VSC during the Grand Prix? The last full safety car at Hungary came in 2021 and gave us this surreal image of Hamilton alone on the grid. I'm going to say no. There's been, what, 3 DNFs here in the last 3 seasons? So I'll go no. I'll say there won't be. Fastest lap of the race, I will go Lando. And who will score the most points, Williams or Alpine? I will go Williams. And then most places gained by driver in race, I'm going to go less than 6.5. So that was where, So Red Bull got 2.19 while Ferrari got 2.21 last race. F1 Predict made the right call there. So does that mean that... Oh, wait, this is 2020. This is 2025. So Red Bull... Oh, they got overall fastest pit stop. Okay. Oh, 2.17 it says. Dang. So... Oh, that's because I don't have all the fantasy points selected. Dummy. Ugh. Oh, I forgot my 2 times, says Nixie. God, what do I do without you, Nixie? Thank you so much. Let's see here. What are we going to go with? I'll go... Goodness gracious. A little bit of boring question. I'll go with the Williams. Surely Williams will outscore Alpine this weekend. Cash Conovan's in the chat. What is up, Cash Conovan? We were just talking about you like a little bit ago. Glad that you could make it. Mac Attack says, what are your favorite games OAT? So Mac Attack, I might be telling on myself here, but what does OAT mean? Because maybe that means that I don't know enough about video games. But let me know and I can let you know what my favorite video games are. So Cash Comment says, I'm up to 33. I've gone up every week. That is fantastic, Cash. Great job by you. Current poll is, this will be the last poll for the evening, folks, but what track would make the best sprint race? 58% of you guys are saying Austria. So I should probably have taken Austria off because that's not as controversial as I thought. Melbourne, Vegas, and Monza. Of all time, and now Mac Attack is laughing at how old I am because apparently I don't know of all time. Okay, favorite video games of all time. This is a good question. Man, I've played a lot of video games. I haven't played a lot of video games recently, so forgive me here, but classic, I gotta go Banjo-Kazooie. That slapped when I was younger. I absolutely loved that game. I played it nonstop. Also, the first new Spider-Man game that came out on the PS4, I had surgery the week it came out. and I literally played that for 4 days straight, and that might be the last game that I 100% completed. So Banjo-Kazooie, um, Spider-Man, the first game. I'm gonna try and take sports games out of this because, like, Madden, FIFA, all that stuff. Actually, you know what? I'm kind of a pretty big nerd. I do love the Football Manager franchise or the Championship Manager. Um, the Championship Manager, Football Manager series, like young Ewan had no time for girls. All he had time for was making sure that his imaginary championship team was getting the best 17-year-old out of like the middle of Uruguay and getting them into the team. Mac Attack says, see, now I won't even be able to tell what you said without subtitles. Banjo-Kazooie? Come on, Mac Attack. Come on. That's a classic game. Don't make me feel old. Don't make me feel old, Mac Attack. That's rude. Nixie says, have you tried F1 Manager? I have. I have it on the Switch. I have last year's edition on the Switch. Unfortunately, I just have had like no time to play it. I'm hoping to get back into it during the summer break. But I probably wouldn't put that on my top 4. But you never know. Summer break is long. I'm going to be doing some stuff. I'm not going to be doing some stuff, so I will have some time to kill during the 4 weeks that we have off between the Hungarian Grand Prix and the Dutch Grand Prix. Nicholas is in the chat saying, I'd love to see F1 do a sprint race in Bahrain. That would be interesting. Yeah, I'd like to see that. Okay, so what have I got so far? Have I got 3 games? I said Banjo-Kazooie. I said the first Spider-Man game. I don't think, did I say a third one? I really liked, what's that game? I didn't just play it, but a couple of years ago, Ghosts of Tsushima was really good. I really enjoyed that game. Oh, I did say Football Manager, Championship Manager, that kind of stuff. But yeah. I mean, I like Halo. I like the Halos of the world. Oh my, Mac Attack. I can't even put that on the screen. That's offensive. That is full-blown cyberbullying that you just put on the chat. I can't believe you just said that to me. I thought we were friends, but for those of you listening on the podcast later, Mac Attack said it was published 8 years before I was born. That is very rude, Mac Attack. I can't believe you just did this. Ouch. Ouch. Absolutely, like, knife in the ribs. 8 years before you were born, Banjo-Kazooie was out? Good Lord. I don't think I've ever felt older than that sentence. Jeez. G. Elford says, thank you, G. Elford, for saving me from this, talking about F1 Fantasy, because that really hurt, Mac Attack. Do we trust Williams after all the DNFs? Double-digit DNFs last 3 years. Also, I'm looking at Piastri, Hulkenberg, Behrman, Stroll, Albon, McLaren, Ferrari. 126.8 million to leverage my budget, but scared of being burned by more DNFs. Anyone can DNF, G. Elford, and I understand Williams have had a bit of a bad run here, but Albon's kind of put it together the last 2 races, averaging 13 points per race in Silverstone and Belgium. So Sainz is obviously still getting it together, but Williams brought a big update to Spa. Sainz got 6th in the sprint. Albon got 6th in the main race. So maybe that's kind of propelled them back up to the top of the midfield. Instead of like mixing it in with the rest of the midfield, they're like kind of fully back on top. So hopefully we can trust Albon this week. Everyone's laughing at how old I am. That is very rude. Alex says Ghost of Tsushima 10 out of 10. Mac Attack says solid list, can't blame you. Nixie said, when was it released? Probably older than me too. 1998. You guys are mean. Wow, you guys are mean 27-year-olds. Nixie says, dang it, way older than me then. Sorry, you. And hey, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Ethan says, I have 120 million in budget. Should I keep budget building until I can afford 4A? I think that is a great idea, Ethan, especially like once or if Mercedes get it back on track, you'll be able to kind of get into that range of the 4A budget. But for now, while a lot of the higher budgets, like 126, 127, 128 million managers, while Mercedes is not really firing on all cylinders, this is the opportunity that we have to play catch up in budget and hopefully catch on to the 4A lineup at the same time as them, and then maybe before the time that managers below us can get there as well. Nicholas says, what year were you born, Ewan? I was born in 1999. You guys are just, you're being mean. I am an early 90s baby, almost as early as they come. So that I'll leave it at that. But yes, I'm trying to think how I could give away. I could give away my age with a 27-year-old game is ancient. It's almost like a Saab 9000. Mac Attack, if I knew how to ban someone from the chat on the pop out, you would be getting mighty close to it, my friend. But no, 99. Oh, man. You know what? Let me see here. Oh, number one song when I was born. Let's see. God, that's embarrassing. No, I don't want that. I was gonna tell you what the number one song was when I was born, but that's a terrible song. So I'm not gonna put that on there. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, there we go. It was the year that the Bulls won their first championship with Michael Jordan. So there we go. No, Nicholas, I'm just kidding. You're not being mean. I'm just just playing along with it. Yes. Let's see. Nixie saying something well known that happened. Yes, the Bulls won their first championship. Which dinosaur pet was your favorite? Cash Conovan, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a Stegosaurus kind of guy. It's a weird shout. It's out of left field. I know, like, most people are like the T-Rex or the Brachiosaurus or the Triceratops, but I don't know. Stegosaurus with the plates on the back and the spiky tail, like, don't be messing with a Stegosaurus. Like, they're gonna get you. Please do not do anything irrational, says Mac Attack. And Nixie says 91. Yes, 1991 is correct, Nixie. Nailed it. I was also born in the early 90s, says Cash. Okay, thank you, Cash. You have the knowledge of Master Oogway when it comes to F1 Fantasy. To make you feel better, I remember when Pac-Man came out, says Joe. Okay, so we can all, this is a safe space for us older citizens of F1 Fantasy. But I'm glad that the chat has had such a good time. Oh, Velociraptors, where is that, Peyton? That's classic. Very popular, but yeah, I'm not gonna like put down anyone that loves the Velociraptor, especially like Jurassic Park. Just like holy, like nightmares for days when Jurassic Park came out. Mac Attack and Nixie, Jurassic Park is the original version of the bad versions that Chris Pratt has put out. You guys should probably go watch these kind of ancient movies so you can familiarize yourself with when Jurassic Park was a good movie series, just so you know. Not to see shots fired right back at you guys there. Let's see. Okay, which track would make the best sprint? Austria wins with 50%, Melbourne 12%, Vegas 22%, Monza 16%. I'm going to end the poll right there. And yeah, it has been a great time. I appreciate the questions, dinosaur chat, age chat, video game chat. It's been fantastic. Thank you, Urasoto. Just got here, leaving the like and rewatching. So if you guys are watching on replay, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are now 16 away. So maybe by the time I am back on stream on Saturday. So I got a Friday episode, final thoughts episode, 10 minutes on Friday night. I'll post that as soon as I can. But 2-hour deadline live stream, that is when we are going to pass the 3,500 subscriber mark. It's going to be super fun. So hopefully you guys can join me in the chat. I really appreciate everyone joining me for an hour on Wednesday evening, Wednesday afternoon, wherever you are at in the world. Mac Attack says Jurassic Park is dog, no argument here. I'm assuming dog is a good thing, Mac Attack. Once again, I am very old, so you'll have to explain that to me another time. And Ethan says, what F1 team do you support? I support McLaren. However, because I'm in Germany and Audi is coming, I'm thinking about maybe taking on a second team or just kind of diving all in with Audi and like going with an underdog, because I mean, I kind of started supporting McLaren when they were like the hipster underdog pick like a few years ago at this point. And now they're kind of front runners, and I don't love cheering for front runners. That's just like a weird part of my brain that doesn't like cheering for front runners, even though I'm a Liverpool fan and the greatest soccer team in the world. But yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. Turner says 150 million budget started late in the season. Piastri, Ham, Hulk, Stroll, Alonso, McLaren, Kick, or Piastri, Hulkenberg, Behrman, Lawson, Bortoletto, McLaren, Red Bull. I like the first option. I like the first option there, Turner. But I'm actually going to get out of here, guys. So really appreciate everyone tuning in, chit-chatting, all that fun stuff, all the likes, all the subscribes. It has been fantastic. And I will be back on Friday and then a deadline live stream on Saturday. So once again, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And I will talk to you next time.